Welcome to Pathways to Greatness, where we explore the journeys of exceptional individuals who have achieved remarkable success in their fields. Whether you're an aspiring athlete, a business leader, or simply someone striving to reach your full potential, this podcast is your guide to unlocking the greatness within you. Join us as we dive into inspiring stories, practical strategies, and the mindset shifts that can transform your path to greatness. Let's embark on this journey together. Unleash your potential with Concrete Consulting. Are you a student athlete striving for greatness? Do you want to enhance your mental performance and elevate your game? At Concrete, we specialize in mental performance and success coaching tailored for student athletes, parents, and coaches. Our expert coaches provide personalized strategies to boost confidence, improve focus, and achieve your goals both on and off the field. Don't just play the game, conquer it. Visit concreteconsulting.com and schedule your free consultation today. Take the first step towards success. Okay, welcome back to Pathways to Greatness. I'm your host, Jeff Forrester, and today's episode is a really good one, as I say that about all of them. Some are better than others, and I think this is going to be one of those some are better than others type episode. And today, Nikolai Bujnowski joins the show, and he brings a lot of great real world stories into real world applicable things that will help you level up your life. So a little background. Again, we talk about this at the beginning of the episode. He's an O-line trainer. And as you know, offensive line in football is near and dear to my heart. And when I read about his story, he's all about against all odds. And when you hear what he talks about in relation to his playing career, it screams underdog. And it also screams that we all have the ability to overcome the things that we need to overcome as long as you have a growth mindset. So with all that being said, I don't want to ramble on and take away anything from the episode, but please take a listen to this, get out a piece of paper and listen to it in the idea of how everything that he talks about weaves together. And this is one of the episodes, and maybe I was just more aware of it today, is that you can see him in his answers and how everything unfolds in his life. And it starts at the very beginning when he's answering our fun questions, and then he talks about chess. So think about it in that context and in that lens. But Nikolai, when you're listening to this, I really enjoyed the conversation, and I hope everyone else does as well. So ladies and gentlemen, Nikolai Bujnowski. All right, welcome back to Pathways to Greatness. And today I'm joined with, I practiced it once and then I'm now have anxiety about doing it right the next time. So his friends call him Buj, so that's great. But his real name is Nikolai Bujnowski.
Perfect.
So
Perfect. Got it.
That's a win for a Monday.
Want to know.
Yep. And like so many of my guest Bouge is that I find people on Instagram, and I have a son who plays football, O-line. I know that's near and dear to your heart. And that's probably why you popped up in my feed. My daughter plays volleyball. So literally my feed is full of positivity, Bible verses, O-line, volleyball, and food. That's pretty much it. And now it's AI babies. I'm like obsessed with the AI baby stuff.
I kind of like that trend though. I've been liking it recently.
Yeah. And the Theo Von ones are the best. And now they're running the movies, like all the 80s movies, and which is fantastic. Great.
I love it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, before I introduce you to everybody, I like to play a game called Would You Rather. You ready?
Okay. For sure.
Okay. So would you rather go forward 100 years or back 100 years?
Oh, I'd say back 100 years.
Why so?
Oh, that's actually tough. I would probably say back just because now I assume that when we go, like you're yourself in 100 years, like back, you're saying?
Sure. Yeah. It's all made up. So you can make it whatever you want it to be.
100 years forward. Just because I want to see how AI and all the new electronics kind of play out. I'm so excited for that. But yeah, I'd probably say 100 years forward then, for sure.
Okay. So it literally could be a Terminator moment as well.
Yeah, exactly.
which I'm not looking forward to that part. But
Right.
yeah, and I've had a lot of people say lately, forward 100 years, because there's no point in looking back. It's
Right.
all about where you're headed and what you're going to do. And I can
For sure.
only imagine, with the advancement that we've had really in the last 10 to 20 years, I can't imagine what 100 years is going to be like.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty crazy, I think. So that, yeah, ultimately, yeah, looking forward, that'd be pretty cool to see kind of everything unravel.
Do you think football will still be like the football that we know about today?
No, I don't think so. I think genuinely, I think AI may get so advanced that like the players will stay the players, but I think everything like the refs. I mean, we're already seeing the chains now come out being computerized. So I think everything around it may just be all AI. I haven't came to too many conclusions, but I think it will change like drastically. I think.
Yeah, it'll be interesting around player safety. What does that look like? And then does it
For,
try to soften a super physical, violent game even
right,
more? I don't
for
know.
sure, for sure. And you may even see maybe new technology come out with helmets where it's impossible to get a concussion in 100 years. You never know, like something crazy can come out. So it'll be cool to see though in 100 years for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So would you rather always know the right answer or always make the right decision?
Oh, I oh always that's tough. Wow, that's tough. Probably always know the right answer because
Oh,
then I feel like I can apply it obviously easier. And I think that when I do get into the fork of the road, I can. That's tough. Yeah, but yeah, right answer. Just because I feel like if I know all the right answers, then I feel like knowledge is and learning would be pretty limited, and knowledge is power in my eyes. So I think knowing all the right answers could be the way to go for sure.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Everybody's been different around that one. And so it's fun to hear how people explain their
right,
reasons why.
for sure, for sure. Yeah, I think always knowing the right answer. I mean, if you know always know everything, I think things would get boring, but I feel like I mean, not yeah, knowledge is power. I believe. I think that would help so much.
See, I don't trust myself that I would make the right choice because there's
Yeah,
been a lot of times I've known what was right and I
right.
did not do it.
For sure, for sure. Yeah,
So
that's a good question. Though. Yeah, probably right answer though, for sure.
that could be one you could ask your guys.
Yeah, 100%. I'm gonna ask them after this for sure.
Yeah. It's like when
Yeah,
they snap the ball, do you want to know what to do or do you want to do what you're supposed to do?
exactly, exactly.
Okay. This one's a little lighter, maybe.
Okay,
So would you rather have pizza or tacos?
pizza.
What kind?
Easy. Plain or pepperoni, either or. Yeah, pizza for sure. I'm Italian myself, so I grew up on and living in Jersey. Like we have some of the best pizzas, so yeah, tacos are fantastic though. But I will say pizza for me for sure.
Okay. Since you're probably a pizza purist by just doing cheese or pepperoni, thumbs up, thumbs down to pineapple on your pizza.
Down, 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 down. Yeah, thumbs down. Nope, I can't do it. I don't know. I feel like there's just the Italian in me would just hate myself if I did that. Like I need to be so pure with how I eat pizza, what kind of pizza. So I keep it simple. I do like the more extravagant pizzas like meat lovers. It's not bad, but I'm more of a cheese and pepperoni guy.
Yeah. And that's still close. We were in New York and we went to a place and they had a chicken Caesar salad pizza.
That's crazy.
It was just weird.
That's
I don't.
insane.
And then you've got your barbecue pizzas and you got all the different
Right,
things. But
right.
the chicken Caesar salad, I mean, it's literally a Caesar salad on top of a
Yeah, that's
pizza.
crazy. That's crazy. I don't even know how you eat that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One bite at a time, I guess.
yeah.
Okay. Last question. If you came with a warning label, what would it say?
Ooh, dang, that's a tough one. If I came with a warning label, what would it say? It would probably say, "Don't start talking about football because it won't end." Because I can talk about it for hours. That's
Okay.
probably what I would say. Something I'm passionate about. If you start talking about it, I will just keep going. Like I won't stop. And because
So
yeah, go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, you go ahead.
Oh no, because like The stuff that I know that I study all the time, I love talking about, but then I'm the opposite on the other side. Like if I don't know anything about it, I keep my mouth shut. I'm not the one of the people that try to like know I know everything, but the stuff I do know, like I talk about it all day long.
So, what's a random subject that people might be surprised that you know a lot about and passionate about, other than football?
Chess and UFC for sure.
Oh,
Those are two
okay.
things. Like if it's an obscure conversation, but if you just mention like a chess topic, I can tell instantly if you know what you're talking about, and if you don't, like I'll butt in quickly. That and the UFC for sure, because I've been training jiu-jitsu now for about 4 years, and just a big UFC fan ever since. So like, obviously, I'm a casual fan, but I know more than I guess the average fan for sure. So like, if someone butts in about something and I think you're wrong, like I'll keep rambling for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah,
I've noticed that there's been more O linemen. My son plays chess. I don't know if he knows a lot about chess, but it seems like a lot of offensive linemen enjoy the game of chess. Have you seen that?
for sure. I have, especially centers, because I feel like centers you need to be a problem solver, and I don't think chess directly helps you solve problems, but I feel like it puts you in the headspace to be able to solve problems, if that makes sense. I just think, yeah, chess, it's a constant mind battle. You always just have to think and always have to work on the fly. I feel like football's the same. It helps a ton.
And then I've never been a big chess player. What I do know about chess, though, is you have to think about more than just the play that you're playing. You play for the next really what 3 or 4 plays
For
ahead.
sure. Yeah, it's tough because the better you get, the more moves you can see ahead. Like how when I play chess, I've been playing now for over a decade now for sure. And like I'll put myself in their shoes before I even think about what I'm gonna do. So I'll look at the position, I'll look at their board, and I'll be like, well, what would he need to do to be effective? And then if he does play it properly, how do I counter the effectiveness? And then if I go, okay, he only has one move that's good on the board and he doesn't do it, how do I capitalize? So that's kind of how I think about it, really. And yeah, I love it. I play it all the time.
So that is interesting. Going back to the question about would you like to know the right answer or make the right decision, that gives me a little bit more description and
Mhm.
meat on the bone, because that's what you're looking for, is what is the right answer in this move, because you're not thinking of just this move, which is the right decision, but how is this going to impact later?
For sure. Yeah, and just the game in chess in general, I think it has so many like it just plays into life so well. Like just looking at your position in life or on the board, like the only thing you can do is make the next best move, and that's just how I approach life. Like everything in the past is in the past, and the only thing you can focus on now is your next move. So yeah, chess, I think it just translates directly into life for me at least.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. See, I
Yeah,
had no idea that you were a
yeah,
chess guy. So hopefully
yeah.
that will open
I mean, I got
conversations.
it tatted on my arm, so
Oh, look at
yeah,
that.
yeah. Big chess guy for sure.
Now, so that was the king, is that right?
Hmm.
Okay. So what would be, if you were going to get another favorite piece of from the chessboard, what would you get?
Ooh, that's a good question.
He showed a tattoo for those people who are just listening. Sorry.
Yeah,
He and I are having a visual
yeah,
conversation.
right, right. I would say it's tough because tattoos I do it for looks as well. So I would probably say the knight just because it looks pretty cool. But my second favorite piece, I'd probably be the pawn. I think it's underrated for sure.
Okay.
I think if you're a chess purist, like you'll understand how important pawns are. So I don't think they get the love they deserve. But in terms of aesthetics, probably the knight though because it looks pretty cool.
So, for those, again, this is really cool because this is revealing a lot about who you are and how you think. And having a son who plays offensive line, I see it. The pond is like the offensive line. They're super important, but crazy overlooked. And I
Yeah,
feel like that they're becoming more of a sexy position for
for sure.
people to have. But for since the dawn of the beginning of football, nobody really cared.
No one at all, honestly. It's like your AC. You only notice if it's broken. So
That's
no,
right. Ask the
kind of how
Kansas
it is.
City Chiefs, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, crazy.
Well, everybody, and then I want to. get more into you, Buj, is that this is Nikolai Bujnowski. He's an O-line coach, above all, offensive line. And what I liked about not only the videos that you put out is the story of who you are and where you came from, is that you focus on elevating athletes to their peak. And I feel like just by watching it, it's not just on the field or in the training room. It's anywhere and everywhere. Because,
Yes.
like you said earlier, all these things transfer over into life. And so I started Pathways to Greatness 3 years ago now as a podcast to bring people on like yourself to share your story and share the things that you do to help yourself, but then other people on their pathways to greatness, and to also show that there's different definitions of greatness and everybody has a different pathway, and nobody has yet to show me a straight linear path from point A to point B to greatness. It's ups and downs, twists and turns, things that you could just never imagine, or like in the game of chess, plan ahead. Like I
Right.
never would have imagined they would have countered me that way. And
For
that's
sure.
what life does on a regular basis. So, with all that being said, what would you say is your definition of greatness?
Ooh, of greatness. I would say in terms of just encapsulating everything in life, I would just say greatness is being able to be proud of your last name and representing the people that raise you, really, or just the family that's around you. And like looking outside of sports, like I think if you wake up and you're proud of yourself, proud of the family that you're in, and representing them well, I think that ultimately is greatness. Like being able to be like, okay, Nikolai, he's a Bujnowski, like how does he represent the Bujnowski? So that makes sense. That to me is greatness. To get more specific, are you like more like sports or just in general?
I think just in general, it's really however you like to define it. And I believe with what you shared is it translates to every probably aspect of your life. Would
For
you
sure.
agree?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Just yeah, overall it's just like just being proud of who you are and being proud of and just representing the people around you the best. Like being able to be like, oh, like your cousins with Nikolai, like that's pretty cool. Like he represents you pretty well. Like he carries himself well. He goes about things well. Like that. I think that ultimately is greatness, and just being able to be someone that people look up to is ultimately my definition of it.
So, how do you help? I know you work with young people, and again, we'll get into your story in a second, but I want to chase this rabbit for a second. Is how do you help someone even identify what that means? Because we can say, hey, you need to be proud of who you are, you need to represent your family well. What does that mean when you're talking to anyone or a young person that just hasn't formulated the concept of what that could possibly mean and how to go about doing that?
For sure. So I would just say the basic root of that is doing what you need to do every day, no matter what you feel like doing, if that makes sense. So it's easy to wake up and it's easy to say, okay, I just want to lay in bed, eat ice cream, et cetera, et cetera. But like, if you have to train at 6 p.m., like, did you go train? And I think that those little habits build up to the point where you can be like, okay, this guy's about his business and this guy he carries himself well. Because I think ultimately we're all just habitual creatures. Like, I think, and we can get into it obviously, but I think goals, I think they're a little overrated. I think hitting on your habits daily is ultimately what you need to do. And I think ultimately that will take you to being great. Just doing everything you have to do every day. Did you wake up on time for school? Did you eat breakfast? If you have to gain weight, did you have that extra shake at night? Like it's just little things like that that builds you to the person that you should be in my eyes.
For sure. And what's great, and I hope everybody heard it. And if you didn't, I'm going to remind you to really listen to what Booj had to say, is that none of the things that he described require talent.
Right.
Anybody can do those little things on a regular basis. Are they easy? No. And
Right.
you can develop the skill to to have better habits, but it doesn't habits don't care how tall you are, how big you are, what color you are, like where you live. Anybody can do it.
Right. 100%. Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Well, one of the things that you talk about on your website is against all odds, undersized, under recruited, underestimated would be the way I would describe what you have on your website. So
Yeah.
let the audience know a little bit more about your backstory of
Mhm.
why that's so important to understand.
For sure. Yeah. So growing up, big sports family. Grandpa played at Notre Dame. He pitched at Notre Dame. Dad was a great baseball player. Brother was a great baseball player. I grew up playing baseball, football, basketball. And, you don't realize like the actual politics of sports until you get into like that sophomore, junior year of high school. It's like, okay, there is a height requirement. There is a weight requirement. There is this, and this. And I just didn't hit those measurements. Like I was 220 pounds my sophomore year playing varsity football, just enjoying myself, not really understanding offers, not really understanding the next level that much. And I was like, okay, well, I got to gain some weight. Shot up to 270, 280 my junior year. And that wasn't enough for a lot of people. Like I'm still not the tall, I'm not 6'4", I'm not 6'5", right? I still had to make a way for myself. And yeah, it's just tough because it's like you're the second you're undersized, you're just underestimated, period. Like you have to find different ways to advertise yourself to these coaches, and that could be from strength, that can be from quickness, that can be from just sheer athleticism. And yeah, just throughout my whole journey, it was just a lot of like people doubting you. Just no, you can't do it. Like, why do you even want to go D1? Like, are you sure you could even play? Are you sure you can even get there? And it's just like, it's just, you start to get that definition of yourself of like, okay, oh, maybe you are too short, maybe you are too light, or whatever the case may be. And just overcoming those things is just, it was a big deal to me. And I took it seriously, for sure.
Yeah, and the underlying tone is never judge a book by its cover, and
Mhm.
it is really the ugly side of sports is
Right.
that you could miss it by an inch, maybe 2 inches, when the grand scheme of things with helmet, pads, shoes, cleats, everything on. Can you really tell a big difference? I don't know, but they
Right.
do. I mean, it's the difference between 6'2" and 6'4" is you probably won't even get your film looked at 6'2" in offensive line, which is nuts. And you could be a flat out dog ready to
Yep.
go.
Yep. It's tough. Yeah. I think it's one of the hardest things to overcome. Seriously. I think yeah, it's insane. Just the amount of talent that gets pushed to the side just because he doesn't meet a height requirement. It's insane.
So when I was going through everything and understanding the landscape of everything, because my son's in that position, and by
Mhm.
no means like are you and him, if you saw you out in the grocery store and out and about, nobody would think that you're an undersized individual by
Right.
any
Right.
means.
Right. Right.
But it's, again, in the grand scheme of things, that it is. And I want you to talk a little bit more about, for the average listener, because so many times, we're all judged by our outward appearance or where
Mhm.
we come from, where we live, what our jobs are,
Yep.
and then we're underestimated from that. So how do you help people think about the strategies and the tactics and the habits to overcome being underestimated?
Yeah. Well, the first thing I ask them is, what's the alternative? Like, we can all sit here and start crying about how we're not 6'5", right? So just understanding that, like, that needs to get out the window. Like, you're not going to be 6'6" tomorrow when you wake up. So let's go back to what we need to do. Let's see the habits we need to put into place. And are we hitting those every single day? Control the controllables. That's basically all it comes down to. You probably heard it a million times, but I just like to think about like, what's the alternative? Like, we can sit here, we can cry, or we can get up and go train. Like, that's just kind of, it's very binary to me. It's like, well, are you texting the coaches nonstop, or are you sending them one message a week? Like, it's very binary. Did you do it or did you not? And it's very easy to just be like, oh, you know what, I'm maybe not tall enough. Let me just sit this one out, or I won't care that much. But it's the constant getting up and doing the habits and just head down, keep working, and in the end, it'll all fall into place. I truly believe that if it's meant for you and God wants you to do it, then it'll be there for sure.
So give people, again, the rest of the story of why they should really listen to you when you're talking about being underestimated and overcoming the
Yeah,
obstacles that people see.
yeah, for sure. So I started my college journey off at Virginia Tech. My high school recruitment was not the greatest. I had an offer to go to Morgan State University, and I had a PWO or a preferred walk on to Virginia Tech. And ultimately, I was like, I trusted my abilities and I took the PWO, and I I didn't even meet the coaches. Like I just had pictures on the internet of who they looked like, and I was like, okay, you're him. So I'm gonna go introduce myself. Like I had no idea. And you get there and you're like, okay, this is not like it's very difficult to start to weave yourself into that. But I was like, I can be here. I can hang with these guys. Like this is not, this isn't something out of the reach. And once I was like, okay, I can really be here, I was like, now let's start to turn it up. Let's show them like who I'm really about. But then it's really tough because they got guys that are on scholarship and you're a walk on. They have no reason to keep you. Like they have no money, they have no financial investment into you. There's no reason to give you opportunities on the field. So I had to make my own. Like I got there. COVID year was kind of weird just because we had we were in pods, like we barely met the coaches in the beginning. We were all on Zoom. COVID was very weird. We were working out with like 20 guys. It was just very odd. After the COVID year, though, that was when there were some injuries, this, that, the third. And I started to prove myself like I can hang with these people, like very much so. And that spring, it kind of took off. It was actually funny. I was gonna transition to being a fullback. The head coach was like, well, "Yep, we give you the go, but this spring you need to stay at center because we don't have enough guys. COVID, this, that, the third." And that's when I balled out. I just was played fantastic. And they're like, okay, you're not moving. Like you're staying a center. And ultimately, I just, again, every day got up, understood what I had to do. And but again, it's tough. There'll be those days where it's like they'll bring in a transfer out of nowhere. And I'm just like, what the heck? I thought I was good enough. And then they're gonna bring in another guy. And then there's gonna be so many obstacles. You'll keep getting pushed down, but you still cream always rises to the top, and it's just always finding those little spaces to fit yourself into and just always coming out the other side of it because again they have no financial investment into you and there's no obligation for you to get opportunities, so it's tough. They'll always just, and again I don't think coaches, I think some coaches are robots and they're really soulless human beings. Like I genuinely believe that, and they'll at any chance they get to just push you down a little bit, especially as a walk-on, they'll always do it. And it's tough. Yeah, the journey was very tough. Like there will be days where, okay, Booze, you got some first team reps and you're playing fantastic for 2 weeks. Booze, you're going to be with the third group this week. And it's just like, wait, are you just testing me? I'm really confused now. Like, I think it must just be a test because I was literally being a starter during the spring, and then like fall camp rolls around, and it's like, okay, you're a third string guy. Be with the third string. Let's see how they do. I want to see some other guy play with the backups. Let me see how he does. I know you can play, but just be with the third group. And it's like, what the heck? Like I just worked all that for nothing, basically. And yeah, it's tough, but just overcoming it is what you need to do for sure.
Yeah, and it's such a great story. And so for those who aren't familiar, so PWO is a preferred walk-on. And so many people think that just because you're wearing a Virginia Tech uniform that you're a scholarship player. Is no, you're paying for your own school and you're working out. You don't get all the benefits that all the other players get. Is you're just going because you love football and you want to go smash people.
For
You're
sure.
like Hulk.
Yeah.
Boosh,
No. Yeah.
smash.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so what he was describing is the true definition of a growth mindset. It's not allowing yourself to become a victim, not allowing the circumstances to dictate how you respond.
Mhm.
Because, and I thought about this yesterday, is there's so many times in life we just say, why am I even trying? And when you were describing what you talked about is you did all that work, you made it to first string, and then just because you're a preferred walk on, they're like, we're going to put you on third string. And
Yeah.
so I'm sure there were moments like, why am I even trying this hard?
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. It's just insane how it works. Like you'll be doing fantastic. You do nothing wrong. You can literally show them that like some practices will be graded. We'll have scrimmages where it's graded in Booge, 84%. Other kids, 77, whatever. And there's like hard facts. And yet still they don't, it's not like, okay, you're better than him, go in. It's like, okay, you need to somehow, I don't even know what they want me to do. Grow 3 inches tomorrow or become Superman. Like there's just no in between. Like it's insane how it works. And I feel for walk-ons. Like I feel like I'm the walk-ons advocate for sure. I respect any walk-on for sure.
And that's a sad state about, not to go down this path, but of where college football is going, and even all college sports, is it takes your story out of possibility, or
Right.
making it very, very difficult to do
Yeah,
that.
it's tough, but I think it's very manageable. Like again, there's walk-ons that just thrive. Like they become all Americans, this, that, third, or there's other guys like me that it's like you just try to get your opportunity, you climb, you climb, you climb, and then just over time you just kind of get a little burnt out from it for sure.
Now, when you started to have those potentially self-defeating thoughts, it doesn't sound like you probably wallered in it for very long. It more probably made you angry and work harder. But
Yeah,
there had to be that moment of, okay, Bouge, you got to do something different. You're in a bad place right now. So
yeah.
how did you help yourself get out of that? And how can other people, athlete or not, do the same thing when they're having those moments of, I just don't get it, I can't catch a break?
Yeah. Well, just remember your why. Like, go back to day one before you got into the building. Like, why are you here? Why did you want to be here? I think that kind of puts it in a full circle moment. Just like understand like the reason you're here. And for me specifically, though, it was very weird. When I got to Virginia Tech, I played my first 3 years there. I think I genuinely like was delusional, like genuinely, like I put myself in a headspace. I don't know if it was healthy or not, where I was like I can do this. Like I'm the man. I could be all ACC. Like I could do it for sure. Like a lot of the times at Virginia Tech, it wasn't until like the tail end of it. I would say the very tail end. Luckily, I didn't really have too many self doubts. I was just like, the proof's in the pudding. Like, God, everyone respects me. Everyone loves how I play football. So the couple days here and there where it's like, okay, you get moved to here or there. I didn't really think about it too much because I knew what I was capable of, and I don't know. Again, I don't know if it was a healthy thing, but I just felt like I was very delusional, but like in a good way at the time. If that makes sense.
Well, it was confidence.
Yeah. Yeah.
It wasn't ego or narcissistic behavior. It was, I'm confident in what I'm able to do. And that's a healthy thing.
Right.
And it's when it goes beyond that of you pitching a fit, acting like a baby of
Right.
why you got third. You're like, okay, well, I guess I got to prove myself again. Next
Yeah.
up.
No, it's crazy. It's yeah, it's a grind though for sure. Got to keep going at it.
Yep. And that's what I love about the story. And I'm a big believer that conversations happen when they need to, because
Mhm.
I needed this conversation as well. And we just have to look at the things that Bouge was sharing. Is you can't judge a book by its cover, and it comes down to hard work and habits. And the more that you can create a good process for that is better. And I agree with you on goals, is that so many times we focus on, using athletics is, I want to be first team, I want to be, all conference, I want to win whatever, which is fine, but you forget about those important things along the way. So
Yeah.
I've shifted in helping people find process goals. And
Right.
how do you set a process specific goal? Because if you can increase your bench by 25 pounds, if you can increase your explosiveness, the other things will happen. Being all conference is completely out of your control because there's other people going for the same spot.
For sure. Yeah, and I going back to the goal thing, like I think goals genuinely inhibited my player career just because like my goal before I got to Virginia Tech was get on the field. Like everyone in my hometown was like, you're not gonna get on the field at all. You'll never do anything. And so when I finally got on the field, I was on this high for like 3, 4, 5, 6 days. And then I was like, then what? Now what? Like just I did that. Now I don't have anything. There's nothing to work towards now in my head, at least. That's why again, like I tell my guys, like pick who you want to be. If you're a left tackle, maybe that's Trent Williams. And I just want you to write down what you think his day is on the daily. What do you think he does? Does he eat breakfast? Does he sleep 8 hours? Probably. Does he drink a lot of water? Probably. And just write down a checklist of what you think he does. And once you're done and you're dialed in, that list, just apply it to yourself and just keep doing those things. And once you hit all of those on a daily basis, you'll look up in a year from now and be like, oh, I am All American without necessarily saying, I want to be an All American. Because, like with me, I got to the goal and I was like, well, now what? Like, I just proved I can do it. Now it felt very stagnant to me. It was a very weird ride for me, for sure.
Well, and you hear that a lot. You hear I've had the chance to interview an offensive lineman that won the Super Bowl, and you've heard this before. Is they're standing there, they've got their family around them, they've just won the biggest game probably in the world,
Yeah.
and they go, now what?
Yeah.
Like I thought this was going to be way more fulfilling than it really is. Like,
Right.
don't get me wrong, it was great, it was wonderful. You know, I understand the privilege of being in that position, but it's kind of you get to the point. It's like, okay, now what?
Yeah.
And you
What do I do now?
Yeah, you
You
hear
know?
Nick Saban just won the national championship. The next morning gets up at 7 and it's like, well, we're on the road recruiting again.
Yeah, you're back at it again. It's just a habit. It's like Nick Saban's got to wake up tomorrow morning. He's got to eat his oatmeal pies and go on the recruiting trip. You know, so it's like that's just how it is. Just focus on the habits. I feel like it's huge.
And then you had the opportunity to leave Virginia Tech and go to Boise State. How did that process go?
Yeah. So I have a crazy college ride for sure. So um when the last year at Virginia Tech, the coaching staff got fired. The head coach got fired, and obviously how that works is like, okay, um if the head coach gets fired, they clear house. New head coach comes in, he brings in all his guys. So our head coach got fired. Obviously, now everyone that I was just a player under gets fired, which was annoying because I was on such a high. And then the new coaching staff came in. I was with the Virginia Tech for one more year. And again, being a walk on, like you have to start that whole process over now with a new guy. And it's like you're just at ground one now. And it's tough. And but the strength staff at Virginia Tech went to Boise State. So I knew I had a connection there. So went to Boise State, played there in 2023. We won the Mountain West Championship. That was a fun time. Um, some family things at home obviously led me to come back on this side of the country, and I ended up actually going to Kent State I was there for an off season. But there, and again, it's a crazy ride at Kent State. That's when the love for football just vanished. Like waking up to do football to me was just the biggest chore in the world. We had I don't like talking bad about people, but the head coach there was just not a night like not necessarily like in terms of him being a family man. There it seemed fine, like whatever. But like in terms of football, like he was just a soulless human being. It for me at least. Like, and I don't want to out people, but I think a lot of people felt the same. And yeah, he just completely drained my love for football, but just skyrocketed my coaching love because I was just like, no one's going to experience this like at all. Like, I don't want anyone to go through what I had to go through. Like in terms of the people or just him in general, it was just crazy. And I think also too, like just how they ran the program. Like I came from and I came from Virginia Tech. We've had ups and down years. Like we won 6 games, we went to the bowl game. We've had 3-win seasons, and then at Boise State, you win a championship. I've seen it all. Like I've seen where it is to be a champion. I've seen where it is to win 3 games. I've seen you being in the middle. So you get to Kent State, you're like, I feel like this is just ran horribly, and that's when my love for it just dropped instantly, and it was rough just because like I love the game, but again, I just love wanting to help kids more, and yeah, it's crazy ride.
And that's something that's important for all of us to really take heart in is that we have the ability to either increase someone's enjoyment and love for the game or zap it. One of the first leadership books that I ever read when I was going through leadership management training in the corporate world was a book called Zapped. And it was just talking about how leaders can zap people's enthusiasm and love to do what they want to do because
Yep.
people leave jobs and programs for the coaches,
Yep.
not for the salary, not for the benefits, not for, a lot of those other things. It's they just don't have a connection with the coach or a boss because
Yep.
of the way they make them feel.
Yeah,
And that's important. Back to what you talked about earlier about your definition of greatness is, do people look to you and say, he's a guy that I want to be around. He's someone that I'm proud to know and to call my friend.
right.
And other people, they may be great humans, and I've had plenty of bosses that are great humans, great parents, terrible bosses.
Yeah.
Like they forget that they were an employee on the team before, and it makes it tough.
Yeah, it's rough, and yeah, it's crazy just because like to see everything unravel. Like he just got put on administrative leave because like he was doing some stuff behind the scenes, and now things are unraveling. It's like and I knew something was up because there's no way this guy is like a to me like a real human. Like it was just like a weird dynamic. Like there was no sympathy. I just saw something in his face where it was just like you're not. There's no way this is real. And I think people are seeing it now. But again, like it's gonna be
Yeah.
funny too because if my old teammates see this, they'll know exactly what I'm talking about. The whole scenario, like in
Yeah.
my again, the other coaches were fantastic. Like I thought they were fantastic human beings. Like my O line coach, awesome guy. Like OC, all of them were fantastic people. It's just the head man to me was just bad. And
Yeah.
yeah, and I mean, and I just thought it was a lot of insecurity too. Like I have a funny story. Like before fall, or it was a couple practices in the fall camp was when I ultimately was like, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. I had a talk with him. Like he wanted to talk to me, obviously as it naturally goes. And he sits me down. I sit down. He's in front of me, and he starts rambling for about 3-4 minutes, just telling me like, oh, that's a crock of shit that you lost the love for the game. Like no one actually loses the love for the game. I think this is why you want to leave this and this. You know, I saw I see how your career was at Boise and Virginia Tech. I feel like you just want things handed to you, et cetera, et cetera. I'm trying to butt in and like trying to talk back to him, and like he just wouldn't let me. And he's just like, you know what, Booge, but I love you. I wish you everything. I wish the best for you, and then just leaves the room. Didn't let me speak. Just nailed me for about 3, 4, 5 minutes, and I'm just like, okay, I can't speak, I guess. And he just leaves. So I'm like reflecting there for about 2 minutes and just what everything that happened. So I'm okay. So I get up, I go into the hallway to make a left to go out to the back door to go in the parking lot to my car. But before you go to that door, you can make a left into the coach's office. And I make a left, and it's like a movie scene. And he's coming out the other way. And the assistant line coach comes out. He kind of like nods at me, and then following is the head coach that just spoke to me like 7, 8 minutes ago. We make eye contact, and and he was gonna go walk past me, but he just rambles and he scurries off and turns around back into the coach's office. I was like, okay, he's probably just a very insecure human being. No, I mean, it's just kind of how it is, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's great about what you shared, and again, this echoes what you said earlier in our conversation about having a growth mindset, is that you saw a situation that could have turned you completely negative to just the whole sport of everything that's there. You saw an opportunity of how to make sure that other young people didn't encounter the same thing that you encountered, and how do you keep them in love with the game. And again, you can't protect them from everybody, but how can you build mental resilience to help them navigate some of those things?
But
So, what are some of the things when you look at yourself as an O line coach and as a trainer? What are some of the things other than the X's and O's that you work on that you really focus on to set yourself apart from the rest?
okay, is it going to be like a fit like physical training as well, or is it more just like relationships and stuff? Like
I
how do
think
I?
the relationship, because, again, I feel like there's so many trainers that are out there. You do have the resume, you've been through it, you know what hard work's all about. And so
Yeah,
I think that's a relatively easy answer to
yeah,
explain. And again, there's nuances to your game that is different from another trainer. But for me as a dad, knowing, okay, if I'm going to send my son to you, what
yeah.
are the other intangibles that you offer to help young people build the resilience that you had to do the hard way?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I think it all starts though. Like I'm a big action person. Like I like to lead the way. I like to just show my clients and my guys like how to do it. Like, and it's little stuff like every time someone enters a room, I shake their hand, I look them in the eye, firm handshake, and that's that. And I tell them like anytime someone walks into the room, you stand up, you shake their hand, you look at them, you introduce yourself. And it's just little stuff like that. Like it's tough too because you only have an hour with them and you just kind of want to get to work and you can't really talk too much just because obviously there's sometimes back to back to back sessions, so you can't really just sit there and stand there. But I think it's ultimately just when you do have time is to talk to them about like how to carry yourself, how to handle yourself, and like just go about things because I think it resonates with them. And then when you do have the time to show it to them in person, how to act, how to carry yourself, then they can see how you do it, and then it should hopefully rub off on them for sure.
So how do you translate, you saw what you didn't want in a
Mhm.
coach
Yeah,
firsthand. And I'm sure
yeah,
there was other ones that you took the good and you try to eliminate the bad. So what would you say is your coaching style? And you're doing a really good job explaining it. I just want people to hear because they need to be as self-reflective as you are of
yeah,
how do you be a better parent? Like how do you take from the people that you saw? How do you be a better boss, a neighbor, just somebody who shows up at the coffee shop? So these are all
yeah,
things that I see and I think about on a regular basis of just how to be better and how to apply things differently.
yeah. Yeah. So what was the question specifically? Like, how do I, like, what's my
Would
coaching style?
Yeah, your coaching style and how you've been able to apply the things that you didn't like and
Mhm.
improve upon those to make sure that people didn't encounter the same issues that you do or
Yeah.
did.
Yeah. So to start is like, my coaching style is in terms of how I coach my guys, it's very concise. Like, I don't like to waste words on how I want things done, but I also give them freedom and I tell them and I let them understand like, you're your own canvas. Like, you need to make things tailored to yourself. Like, I'm not 6'5". The way I do things may not be the same like as a 6'5" guy. Like, he's gonna do things that are way different than I do it. But understanding that one prescription isn't good for everyone. So just kind of knowing that and just being concise with my words, I think it helps them a lot. Hopefully, if they're watching this, let me know. But like, it's just I stay concise. I let them be their own artist, right? Let them paint how they want, and then I'm here for tweaks. Like, if that just looked off, I'm gonna let you know about it. And I focus on a lot of the details. Like, I'm a very I think there's a lot of holes in offensive line coaching. I just think it was just passed down from generation to generation. Nothing's ever evolved. Nothing's changed. And all I do is just focus on the nooks and crannies of it. Like, I read all the time. I'm watching videos all the time. Like, this is what I love to do. I coach. I come home. I watch film. I read books. I study the science about how your body moves, and I apply it to offensive line play. But to answer the second question of like how I picked out, you're saying like the good and the bad, just understanding what the good and the bad was, like ultimately how it all unraveled. Like, I had Coach Rudolph, who was at Virginia Tech, and he's now the O line coach at Notre Dame. When I tell you this guy was locked in, like, he's one of the best in the world. And obviously, as things unravel, you kind of learned about him more. You're like, okay, this guy's legit. So in terms of the technical side, like, he's probably not wrong in many things at all. But then when you see other guys at like Kent State, and I'm like, the way he's speaking to me or his body language towards me is just off. I just try to do not directly the opposite, but something that's just more inviting. Like, if it's body language that was rough, like, okay, how do I adjust that for me to look presentable, for me to be welcoming, for me to be charismatic to other kids? And and again, I'm still refining it, right? I'm very young, but it's looking at what they did wrong for me at least, and seeing how it affected other people. Okay, that was a bad way how he approached it. Now let me do the opposite, if that makes sense. So just taking the pieces of the good, looking at the bad, because I think the bad helps a lot, just to see what you to not to do, and just kind of refining those things, and then combining both of those, and then ultimately having your own creation.
And what's great is you're teaching problem solvers
Yeah,
by giving them the enough rope to be able to go about it and then say, okay, why did that happen?
yeah,
So if you missed or if whatever it may have been, that you need them to understand that because you're not always going to be right there next to
for sure,
them.
for sure.
And so when you said that, I was thinking about in life, how do we do that? Like, how do we, help people do that? And it's putting ourselves in their shoes. And how do you encourage them to think through the problem? As a parent, that's what we try to do. But many times we do have to instruct. We have to say,
Yep.
okay, if I could ask you this question, like, well, why did that happen? They've never experienced it before. So they're going to go, I have no idea why that happened.
Right.
And so that's where you start to help them create good thinking styles. And
Right.
so I think that's why you've been successful, because that's how you were. One, as a player, you were, as a chess player, you also start to think through those things, and that translates into football and being a coach. The other thing that I liked is that in a situation, this goes back to your growth mindset, in a situation that could have turned bad and you wallowing in on how bad that person was, you decided, okay, how do I learn from them? How do I, like, what do I need to learn? As much as I don't enjoy the situation, okay, I'm seeing that their body language isn't effective. The way they coach isn't effective. What would make that more beneficial to a player that if I'm talking to? And so I just want to encourage people to hear what you have to say and to apply that growth mindset. And if you feel yourself pushing back on something, is turn it around to have the curiosity of how could I do this differently and a little better.
For sure. And like, not to like, I mean, these are just hard facts. Like Kent State's won one game in the last 20 something games. Like they went 1-11 in 2014, or sorry, 2013, and then they went 0-12 in 2024. And it's like, wait, did I say 2013? No, 20. Sorry, I'm messing up my dates. 2023, yeah, they went 1-11, and then 2024 they went 0-12. And it's like, something's got to be wrong. Like, but and that's just like that's just the truth. Like, if you're winning one game in 20 something tries, like that's rough. And you could just see the stuff to learn from. Like, things can't stay the same if you win one game. But as a player, if you say anything like this, you'll get kicked off the team. Like, why?
Sure.
So that's why now, as a coach, I'm very vocal about it, because I want people to understand, like, there's something that's factually wrong. You can always learn from it. It's not that you're just, oh, you're terrible. It's more about, okay, take what they've been doing and just refine it, and then just keep doing that until it does work, because something's obviously not working.
Right. And that's it's that self-reflection period. And what you were saying is looking for new opportunities and new ways to do things is, again, you apply what made you successful, but then how do I push the boundaries and the limits? If you're a reader, there's a great book called What Got You Here Won't Get You There.
Gotcha.
And it's written from a corporate perspective, but it could 100% be applied to football, and it really can be applied to anything. And it makes you think of, okay, well, I'm here. So here you are. I made it as a preferred walk-on at Virginia Tech. Great. That's not enough to get me to where I need to be. I want to be on the field. I did enough to get here. Now what do I need to do there? Exactly. And in life, we constantly have to be evolving and improving and trying to look, like you said, do the things that we can do to keep everything moving forward, because what got us here will only get us here. It won't continue to push us and elevate us where we need to go.
For sure.
So I want to be very respectful of your time. So what would be some parting words that you'd like to leave the audience with today?
Ooh, I would just say, understand that it's a marathon, not a sprint. I would just say that, like, you don't need to get it figured out by tomorrow. But if tomorrow you're not on the path and always taking those steps in the marathon, then you're wrong. Like, don't think everything needs to be figured out in a month, 2 months, a week from now. But understand you need to be on the path every single day. Like if you really want something, it's there for the taking. Like, I think a lot of people just frankly are lazy. And I think that it's very easy to beat people. But if you're not, like, if you're someone that just doesn't want to do it daily, then you're just one of the people that I just mentioned. Like, you're falling in the pack. And I think that ultimately, like, you're not going after your goal. And I think if you do every single day, at some point you will get rewarded, whether it's 2 years from now, 8 years from now, or tomorrow. If you just keep hitting the nail every single day, little by little, it will come to you for sure. So I think that's it.
I don't care if anybody else needed to hear it. I needed to hear it today because I was going back and forth with a buddy about this exact conversation yesterday. So, and I was thinking back of, just to add to that, is I'm a Christian, big Bible believer, and when we go to characters in the Bible, many of those people never met greatness or achieved where God wanted them to be for decades.
Yeah,
They were 50, 60, 80 years old, and we don't hear about the 79 years that they had to just endure being refined to be ready for that moment when it was their
exactly.
time.
Exactly. Like if you like a basic example is like these major YouTubers. Like ask Mr. Beast how many years it took him to probably gain 1 million followers. Like probably 8 years. I mean, I don't know his story, but like all these people, it takes time. It takes a lot of work. It takes grinding and grinding and grinding to like get to their point that they're at now. Like people just see Mr. Beast, oh, he's got 1 trillion subscribers. Like that happened in 2 months. It's like, no, like he was probably grinding for 7 years before anything got going. And I think people stop too soon, if that makes sense. I think
Mm-hmm.
if you just go for it, I think it'll play in your favor for sure.
Yeah, and you said it earlier, go back to your why.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
So how can people find and follow you?
Yeah, so most of my Instagram and TikTok are at Nikolai Buj, Nikolaibuj. My TikTok and Instagram are those. That's my my username handle. I'm not too prevalent on YouTube yet, but my username is Nikolai Buj 3, and my X is also Nikolai Buj 3 as well. So yeah, I'll be on there, and that's where I mainly post. Instagram mainly though, but
Okay.
yeah, from there, Instagram and
Oh,
TikTok.
awesome. Well, I'll have all that. I'll get everything from him and have everything in the show notes. If you want to find him, I would recommend it. Whether you have a O lineman or not, it's a fun follow to see some of the wild things that you have people doing. But thank you. I really appreciate you coming on. I benefited from this conversation greatly.
Likewise, thank you so much. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, hang on. So, ladies and gentlemen, Nikolai Bujnowski.
Yes, yes.
Thanks for joining us on the Pathways to Greatness podcast. We hope that today's conversation inspired you to take steps towards your own greatness. Remember, every journey starts with a single step. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who might benefit. Actually, share it with 3 people that you might think it might benefit. Until next time, keep pursuing your passions and carving your own path to greatness. Take care.